What is up, people? We got a few things that we're going to talk about today, and that is mostly this Georgia versus Texas game. It is going to be what I guess what we've seen out of Georgia lately, and then what we saw out of Georgia Saturday. Um, but then I guess what we're expecting. I think this was a monumental game under Kirby. I think this was a very, very big game. I think it had a lot more impact than people think it did. Um, and the reason that I say that is we have we've never seen an atmosphere like that. Um, and I'm gonna give it just a few minutes. I'll let some people kind of come on in because I really want some opinions. I want everybody's opinion on this. This game was crazy. Um, there were so many aspects to the game, so many different things that happened in the game. Whether it was the actual football game or it was just the non-football aspect, the celebrities, the drone shows that were going on, the crowd, the fireworks, the I I knew getting Texas and Oklahoma was going to be great for Georgia. I knew. I mean, we all knew that. We knew getting those two teams, getting those kind of teams, Oklahoma and Texas, great programs, great brands. And so, the SEC pulled them in, and I thought that was a smart thing to do. Um, but I didn't realize it was going to be like this. Of course, I'm excited. Of course, I'm looking at it like, let's go. We're playing Texas. It's this, it's that. I kid you guys not. They showed the very beginning of the game. They're showing it was before the crowd was even there. I mean, it was like you saw the stadium, and the first thing you thought was like, oh, so everything's bigger in Texas, right? That was the first thing that you thought. But then as it started to fill up, as they started to show Kevin Durant, as they started to show Glenn Powell, as they started to show Matthew McConaughey, and like they went down the line, there were like 12 different celebrities that they showed before the game even started. I mean, yeah, they showed people throughout the game. They showed people here and there. And all that's cool. I'm just saying this game to me really showed me, and I guess because we are playing them, Georgia's playing them, it showed me how big the Texas brand is. I've heard that they have their own network. I heard they have the most money in college football. Them and Texas A&M, the whole Texas oil money. Like I've heard all of it, but to actually see it in person, for me as a fan, if it was mesmerizing, for me as not even a bystander, right? I'm at home watching it on TV. If it was overwhelming for me, I can only imagine how it is for teams that play at Texas. I can only imagine how it is for, you know, Kirby as a coach to have to do everything you need, do what you have to do to get your team, hey, to get your team focused. Like like I said, that part blew my mind on um the kind of brand that they bring to the table. So really excited to have them in the SEC. I'm like I said, I'm not. None of this is going to attack Texas as a brand. I'm going to be awesome. I'm going to be amazing, right? Going to be great as far as how we talk about this. But I'm going to be honest. Um, and I think for me, the biggest thing to start with uh, was the call, right? I mean, this is going to go down. If you're a Georgia fan, I mean, I've had multiple people who aren't Georgia fans who have reached out to me, right? Who have reached out to me and just kind of given me their thoughts on this whole, you know, hey, that I thought that was crazy. The whole man, I can't believe they changed the call. Like, I've had multiple people reach out just to not only tell me that, but also get my opinion. And I think for me, at some point in the game, it became really, really weird. At some point in this Texas and Georgia game, it became really weird. Georgia had the momentum. Georgia was dog stomping Texas. I mean, of course, and all that surprised us. Like I said, we'll go through that. I'm not knocking that Georgia didn't play great on defense and kind of shut up the world. I'm not knocking that. But at some point, if you were watching this game and you watched it from the beginning, this game got weird. And what I mean by weird is you're watching it, you're excited, man. Georgia's defense doing awesome. This call happens, right? And this wasn't the first thing. Georgia gets up 23-0, and then all of a sudden, there's this like shift in energy. All these flags start being thrown. All this like the I don't know if you guys have seen. What's up, Bulldog JC? I've been great, big dog. I hope you've been well as too. I said well as too. I don't even know if that makes sense. I hope you have been well too, my friend. But this game was so weird because it it felt like, and I'm not even crazy when it comes to conspiracies. I think my brother is a bigger conspiracy theorist than I am, and he used to not be. But like, it was almost like the betting lines were like, "Hey Kirby, calm down. You're destroying Texas right now, and we don't need that. They're new to the SEC. You need to chill out. All right, we got all these celebrities. They put a lot of money to be here, and these flags started going. I don't know if you guys have seen the TikToks or Instagrams that have come up. There are multiple times, right? And we felt this. I don't know if you guys have seen this, where the clock stopped even after the ref spotted the ball, and the clock is supposed to run. That's the new rule, right, in college football. I personally called it out 7 times. There are Instagram posts where I've seen it. They're talking like in the 14 to 15 range. But when I saw it the first time, what's up, Harry? When I saw it the first time, I was like, why are they stopping the clock? Like, what are they doing? Dude, there was a total of 2.5 extra minutes of gameplay played because the clock stopped after the referee spotted the ball. And people are like, oh, what do you mean 2.5 minutes? What do you know? Because when you spot the ball, right, as soon as you spot the ball, the other team's play clock starts, right? The clock starts. So they have a 40-second runoff. Dude, the clock didn't run until they snapped the ball. Like that. And like I said, it was so weird because then once we started calling it out, I'm watching it with my brother, I'm watching it with our friend, and then their wives. And of course, the wives are like so ready. They're watching it and they're like, oh, look, it's not going. The clock's not running. Like, they're so excited to point it out. But to me, I'm like, it's Texas. We've never had a brand like this in college football. Ohio State, crazy big brand, right? We know that, even though we whooped that tail, and Ryan Day still crying about that hit on Marvin Harrison. Texas, very big brand. Alabama, big brand, right? And if you talk to any Georgia fan, it's like, man, has Bama ever got away with a call, that kind of ruined the game for you guys? Yeah. Tyler Simmons was not, he was not offsides, right? We know that. We talk about that thing. But for Texas, first year in the SEC, all the celebrities, all the money, like I said, the drone shows, the fireworks, it was overwhelming for me as a fan. I can only imagine what it was like as a player. Like, and not only a player, but a starter. Like, the momentum in that game was crazy, but the momentum shift is what I'm talking about. That happens. The clock stopping, right? The random flags start happening here and there. No holding calls at all in Texas. Tell me how a team has 7 sacks in a game, but there wasn't one holding call. You're telling me they're getting to the quarterback like that, but yet. Anyways, okay. Then the controversial call. The whole, hey, we spotted the ball, right? Hey, look, guys, it was pass interference. Look, it's Georgia's ball, all right? We spot the ball. We've already talked about it. Then all of a sudden, all of these. Hold on there, Mayhem. Let me finish this, and I'll read that because I do want to read it. All these bottles and stuff could start getting thrown on the field. This crybaby attitude, right? This crybaby attitude, this piss poor attitude from the Texas fans. It's our first year in the SEC, and Georgia won't let us win, right? Yeah, we get it. All right, okay, get it. Then all of a sudden the referees felt the same way the Miami referees did when they called the touchdown, right, against Virginia Tech, and they're like, look, guys, these fans are pissed. Do we leave here and have a chance of getting our tails handed to us on the way to our car? No. Kirby is not with this whole, hey, it's Texas time. Like they're first in the, first time in the SEC. They got the money. Let them know. Kirby's like, man, screw all that. It's my time. I'm not going away. I got a back-to-back, but I'm not taking the back door anymore. And that was great. Loved it. Okay. They changed the call, and I kid you not, Kirby, we've all known Kirby is who he is, and we've heard the speeches, right? Right. Everybody in the chat, Harry, Bulldog, Mayhem, everybody else that comes on later, or if you're listening right now, we've heard the speeches of Kirby. We know Kirby is that dude. Kirby talks his talk. But what do we all know? Kirby in pressers or conferences, he speaks coach speak. Every single game we play, guys, that's a good team, right? He says it every time. That's a good team we just played. All right. I know you guys don't think that. And I know you go and you post it in the media and you say that we should have beat them by this. But guys, that's a great football team over there. He says it every time. This was the first time in the 9 years we've had Kirby that I ever heard him not give the coach speak. This man, when they tried to screw him on that play where they changed the call, I saw a new Kirby come out. And I've had other fans, other college football fans tell me, man, you think Kirby finally breaking the curse of beating Bama in the championship and then plus winning a back-to-back, do you think he kind of cooled off a little bit? You think he's not as hungry? And I was like, well, I think he did get the monkey off his back, but I think he's still Kirby. Any of that talk goes out the window. Because when they tried to screw him right there, you pissed off the one college football coach that you do not piss off. You can make Ryan Day mad, right? Oh, the sidelines, they're too short. We need to make them bigger. Oh, you hit Marvin Harrison and you knocked him out. Oh, nobody cares. When they hear Ryan Day cry, what do? They laugh. They make videos of him, right? They it's comical to them. When Dabo Swinney, when he goes off on his little rants, people laugh. Oh, Lord, here he goes. Here goes this guy. Like, that's what people say. But when Kirby gets mad, you don't hear one person. I've not seen one video since I've been on YouTube that tries to make fun of Kirby when he gets mad. You want to know why? Because people are intimidated by Kirby. Kirby walks around with that I'm a man type mentality. And when he went off on that referee, and then after the game, that man backed it up, and they were like, "Oh, Kirby, how do you feel? How do you feel after a big win at Texas?" And he's like, "Well, I'm feeling good considering your whole network picked against it." Like that man wasted no time. There was no coach speak. There was no, "Oh man, we're just happy to be here. Oh, this is a great atmosphere. Oh, this is an amazing place." No, there wasn't none of that. It was your whole network picked against us, right? Yeah. And even though they tried to rob us, the next thing he says, even though they tried to rob us, yeah. Well, then what does he say after that? We weren't here for pictures. We weren't here for all that. We were here because we were here to eat. 3 things in a row were straight. I'm going to tell you how I feel. And I don't give a crap if they find me. I don't give a crap if they say anything to me. Like I'm Kirby Smart. And that is where, yeah, Kirby tiptoed that invisible line for sure. Yeah, he did. But that's where Georgia fans love Kirby because we don't have this guy that tries to play any type of role or tries to, no. It's like, man, I'm sorry, bro, but if I was in the same room as Kirby, I'm shutting up. I'm like, it's because he's intimidating, but it's because he doesn't take no crap. And that's what we love, right? I feel like that's what we love, but the game was weird. It was all these weird things that happened. Anyways, all right, well, let's move on. All right, let me go back and read what Mayhem said. Everyone, oh no, hold on. Yeah, everyone talks about how we don't have an elite receiver, but name a wide receiver that has a natty in the last 3 years except GP. I'm guessing Mayhem Matthews talking about Gary Payton, right? A basketball player. And we keep beating these teams with elite receivers as well. Yeah, we do. I do agree with that. Perhaps now Texas realizes that it doesn't have the pull it had enjoyed. Yes, Harry. That's my point. The same way that Kalen DeBoer, when he was at Washington, felt like he could just run through his playbook against anybody he played. When you're at Bama, where everybody's studying you, every coach, they don't even have to play you, and they're studying you, and they're collabing with other coaches. And now, guess what? People have your number. You can't just run everything you used to run in the past. Like, now you've got to have different game plans for different teams because people, they know what you're going to run. All right, so next thing. Texas, the best offense they had played before they played us. Wasn't it like UTSA? Somebody like that? Like, Texas had not played a bunch of great teams. They played Michigan. Michigan has a terrible offense. We know that. But that was the highest ranked team they had played. So when I went back and watched them play against Mississippi State, I knew that Arch Manning was starting, right? That's okay. But defensively, their defense did not do good against Mississippi State. Mississippi State had 2 touchdowns called back. They gashed the crap out of them and then just had turnovers in the red zone. Now, if that's one thing that Texas has done very well, they have a great red zone defense, right? They did it to us. We had 3 interceptions. I think 2 were in the red zone. One was one was in the red zone. One was right before. And then one was to begin the game off the helmet. What's up, Big Two? But Texas had not played anybody of that caliber. We started off with Clemson. We played at Bama in a night game, and then we go to Texas. Now, do I think Bama has a great atmosphere? I do. But I don't think anything has ever compared to what we saw at Texas. And I keep saying it. But when they went from commercial and they came back and they've got the drones in the sky that are spelling out Texas, and each drone has fireworks coming off of it, then they've got a Longhorn that's beside it, is shaped out of drones. I'm like, who are we playing, dude? This is like a movie, and then they show Kevin Durant, right? Then they show like 7 different TV stars or movie stars, all this and that. Then they show the NFL player. I'm like, NBA players, baseball players. I'm like, dude, what is going on right now? Like, this is unreal. All right, next thing. All right. Look, I agree with you some things, and everyone else is saying, but disagree with some things as well. No. I mean, tell me. I definitely want you to tell me, JC, just because I want to hear your opinion on. I want to hear what other people have to say because this game felt weird. Anyways, I'll go ahead, but tell me what you felt like. But Arch Manning looked scared. I don't know why they brought him in. I feel like they kind of attacked Quinn Ewers' confidence right there. I thought that was very weird how they took him out. Then all of a sudden they start Quinn Ewers and play him for the rest of the game. That Kirby's like, no, look, I'm playing Carson the whole game. I don't care if he has a bad game. Like, I need him to get better. I know what he can do. And that hey, we appreciate it. Felt like Carson Beck, he didn't have a terrible game away from the 3 picks, which is crazy to say, by the way. Georgia's offense played terrible. I think we had 12 drops or 11 drops. We had 3 interceptions and still destroyed the number 1 team in the nation. Like, that's wild to me to think that. It's like, imagine if we'd have played half decent. The game would have been 48-10. I'm talking half the. I'm talking 1 interception. I'm talking you take the 3 interceptions, put them to 1 interception. You take the 12 or 11 drops and you put them to 5 drops. Like, guys, we started the game with 4 drops. So it just, anyways, like, we gave Texas gave up 1 sack the entire year. And against Georgia, they gave up 7. They were not used to that. They're not used to playing that. And I know people go, oh, like I just said, Texas hasn't really played anybody this year. Well, their quarterback is the same quarterback from last year, right? You know that half of their offensive line, actually 75% of their offensive line is the same offensive line from last year. They lost 2 receivers, 1 to graduation and 1 to the draft, 1 being A.D. Mitchell, who was at Georgia. Like, it's not like they haven't played together for, 2 years now. So Ewers did play better. Yeah, he did. He did. But I think also, Vic, too, a lot of that goes to how we play under Kirby when we're up. He plays that whole bend, don't break mentality. You can have the 5-yard pass. You can have the 10-yard pass. You can even have the 12-yard pass. But you're not getting the deep ball, right? Anybody remember that offensive pass interference that Texas should have got? that I don't think it was Malachi Starks. I think Janelle Aguero was going up for it, and the receiver just threw him down to the ground. No flag at all. Like that one pissed me off. That one that one pissed me off. But I think Ewers had a better game because of that. Kirby's like, hey, let's back up a little bit. Let's waste some time, make them eat some clock on a drive, and make him have to make good passes. All right, here we go. We caused 3 fumbles in that game. Yes, it excites me. But if you guys remember against Alabama, we got to Milroe the same way we got to these quarterbacks. But what's the difference? Milroe's a running back that runs like a 4.3 40. So he just took off every time. And my example of that was when Arch Manning came in. What'd he do? We got to him and he saw a gap. He took off. I think he had like a 20-yard run, 15-yard run. Well, that was why it was so tough against Milroe, is because we're getting to him. Now, what do other teams do? Why are they able to beat Bama? Because they're not trying to get upfield. They're making Milroe pass. And it's because they don't have the 5 stars that we do. We had Mikael Williams, Jalen Walker, and Gabe Harris all on the field at the same time. Those are 3 defensive linemen that are all 5 stars, right? Yeah, you got KJ Bolden, that's a 5-star. Yeah, you got Malachi Starks, that's a 5-star. I get all that. I'm saying that's why other teams are able to contain Milroe, because they're not trying. Maybe not that they're not trying. They just don't get to him the way that we did and allow those open gaps to happen. Um, dog drops are epidemic. What is Coley doing? I'll be honest. I feel like our offense doesn't practice a lot of these kind of things in practice. This kind of offense, but I think the exciting part for us as Georgia fans, we played Mississippi State, and this is my opinion. All right, you guys can agree or disagree. We played against Mississippi State last week, the worst team in the SEC. That's the first time I felt like we had an offensive identity. We are a pass first team. We have a quarterback who has an NFL caliber arm, right? He's got the body side, the body type, all of it. Well, hey, Bobo, Mike, it's okay if the very first game of the season, we're a pass first team. But what'd you do the first 4 games? You tried to run it up the middle 47 times in a row. You ran 37,000 screens. Like, it's okay to just let Beck throw, because that's our identity. So for Beck to throw these 3 interceptions, I'm not mad at him. We should have been playing like this type of play style in the first game. If we would have done that, then our team, not just Beck, but the wide receivers and everybody. Hold on, I just heard something upstairs. Uh-oh. Do we have somebody break into the house? Hold on, guys. Let me listen. Yeah. I'll send it. Look, I'll just post it in here. I'll post it in here, Jesse. Um, but that, like, if we would have been playing like this, if we would have had this type of mindset the first couple of games, then you don't have to. You're not throwing 3 picks, right? Guys, this is for JC. I don't mind if you guys come on, but I know he wanted to come on here and talk. So that's what I'm saying is I wish we would have had this type of mindset earlier, the pass first mentality. Um, so it's very weird, yes, but I'm okay with it. If we can have this mentality going into the rest of the season where, hey, let Carson throw the ball 45 times, we've got the receivers. What's up, Nature Boy? We've got the receivers. We've got the weapons. And everybody's like, oh, well, Georgia just doesn't have the receivers. Dude, I think Lawson Lucky and Oscar Delp are talented. I think Dylan Bell is uber talented. I think he is a great runner. I think he's a great catcher. I think he's a great route runner. I think he's a good 50-50 ball. He's great in space. I think Anthony Evans needs more touches. I think he's good. I think Aaron Smith dropping the ball, like, hey, I get it. I know, but I'm saying he needs more touches. We let Carson throw the ball 45 times a game. Because right now, everybody is stacking the box against us, and they do not respect our pass game. So I think until you do that, until you do that, you won't see anything different. Um, so yeah, like I said, so all of that, I want to go over the stats. Thought this was another crazy aspect. All right, all that you saw, 8 different receivers for Georgia. Dogs have run 465 plays, 203 rushing. Yes, yes. And in the last 3 games, Harry Leg, the last 3 games, I think Carson has had over, correct me if I'm wrong, he's had over 40 pass attempts. It's like finally they're going, okay, let's pass the ball more than we run instead of running the ball more than we pass. That's where this whole Georgia fans being upset with run, pass. Because it was like, no, so yes. So I'm going to go over the stats real quick. What's up, big dog?
Hold on just a second. I'm trying to get my
You're good. You're
stuff.
good. Um, but like you had Georgia had 8 different receivers, guys, get receptions.
All right.
And I know there were a lot of drops, but I'm saying all eight different receivers getting receptions, and that equaled 0 touchdowns. Now, does Carson struggle in the red zone? Does he, he does try to force a few things. We've seen that lately, but I do think a lot of that is with. I think he just needs the experience. I think games like this are going to make him better. I know that we have Gunner as a backup, but I would rather Kirby just let Carson hold it down compared to him swapping him in and out and us feeling like Texas and kind of getting the fan base torn apart. So, uh, what's up, big dog?
I mean, yeah, everything's fine here. How you been?
I'm good. I'm good. Like I said, I'm excited after that game. And I know, yes, I'm excited about the defense, but I think we only had 175 yards passing, but I'm still excited about the offense because we don't. Do you remember against Bama in the first half when Carson was eyeing down receivers? Like, and we were
Yeah,
like, "Oh, what are you doing? Why are you staring them down like that?" This
yeah.
because
He's did a lot better since the Bama game.
well,
He
and that's
checks his
that's where
first option, second option, third option.
and that's exactly where I'm
He
going
was
to.
moving his head around more.
That's exactly where I'm going to is an offensive coordinator. He's a high school offensive coordinator. He's not like some big time guy, but he was saying he's noticed that with Bobo in the last 2 years, Bobo's got 2 different styles of play. He has the
Yes.
script style of play where it's, hey, read the linebacker or read the safety, and whatever they do, you make the decision then. And then he's got the free reign, the give the leash. And that's what we've seen these last 2 games is the free reign of, hey, Carson, you make the decision. He got Carson running up, we're about to run a run play. And then Carson's like, hey, they got people in the box. We're swapping the play to this. And he's letting Carson run what he feels fit. We haven't had Carson eye down anybody in the last 2 games.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying is
I mean, I'm
I'm glad we're doing it now, but I wish we would have started the season with that type of mentality so Carson would be better at it now. Instead of that, if the linebacker blitzes, I'm throwing it to him. If he stays in zone, I'm throwing it to him. No, like let him read. Let him
yeah.
so
Well, I agree. I agree with that. He has been looking around at different options during the games. He's been going up to the line, changing the play a lot more. He seems like he's more like a little better than he was in the Alabama game, but I'm
yeah.
not happy with the interceptions.
I'm
And
with you. I agree.
you know, but that I think that will come at, that will improve with more and more, more and more. I mean, I know he played all season last year. It just bothers me a little bit with his interceptions because he's had more interceptions this year than he's had last year, and he played all games last year and only had what 6, 7 interceptions last year total, and
Well,
he's
I
already
agree.
surpassed that this season.
And I
I mean,
and I'm not
that ain't good.
I'm not stubborn. I'm not ignorant. I do know that's a problem. I think last year, that whole being able to eye somebody down and wait till a linebacker blitzes or wait till this happens to make a decision, I think
Yeah,
it worked better last year because, I know
because you
Brock and
had
Lad
more,
weren't on
you
the
had
field.
better player, a lot
Yes.
better players.
And I think with Brock, he's got 2 or 3 guys eyeing him down when he runs a route.
Yeah.
So when he runs that route, he's taking 2 or 3
Well,
guys with him.
with that being said, that the whole eyeing people down has improved. His throws when he has like a thrower, a short, a medium range pass, about a 15 yard pass, like the one that was picked off that the penalty was called on, which it was a bad call. There
Yeah.
was hand play on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
I mean, there was the defender. You could clearly see the defender, the Texas defender, did grab Arian Smith's shoulder pads. You could
Yeah.
clearly, if you go back and look at it, you can see it was pass interference. But before he grabbed him, uh, Arian Smith shoved off and then went to turn around. When he went to turn around, that's when the Texas defender grabbed him underneath the shoulder area,
Yeah.
and that should have been pass interference, but it was pass interference on both sides.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
it was a BS play anyways. But if Carson would have threw the ball, because the way that Arian Smith he what do you call it,
Yeah.
a hook pass.
Yeah.
When he turned to his right to catch the ball, and Carson Beck threw the ball to
To
his
his left
left
side.
side.
Yep.
So maybe he was expecting Arian Smith to turn to his left,
Yeah.
and
And
I
I see
think
what
that
you're
was a
saying.
mess up.
Throwing to his
So
outside.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's because the receiver and the quarterback are not in sync because they haven't had a lot of connection time.
Yeah.
But Arian Smith he's been good in some games and missing he's missed some balls, but not pointing out Arian Smith. I think Arian Smith is a good receiver. I do
Yeah.
think he's a good receiver. But Carson Beck this year, and that's just one play I'm pointing out. But if you look at a lot of his passes this year, he's thrown like the receiver will be running and he'll throw it like just behind the receiver, and the receiver has to stop and turn around to try to make a play on the ball. Whereas if you throw it in sync with
Unison.
him, he
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
have to slow. He can just catch the ball and he's off.
Well, and that's
You
that's
know?
what I'm hearing a lot is that there doesn't seem to be much chemistry with Carson and these players because they're very out of sync. And to your point, the interception that he threw on that the pick, well, not a pick six, but that interception out of the 3 that he threw, that was the one real interception.
Yeah.
The first one he threw bounced off of somebody's helmet. It was an interception, but it wasn't like he made a bad pass to the defender. Then what was the second one? Off the tips of the hands.
Off the tips of the hands, which
Yes.
resulted in
Now,
an
now could
interception.
Carson have thrown a better pass? Yes, I'm not saying that. I'm saying,
Maybe, but that one tipped pass that ended in an interception, that wasn't Carson Beck's fault. That
but
was
that's
just
kind of where I'm going with
yeah,
the Mississippi State game. Was like, okay, Carson, we saw you make some bad passes, but we also saw some receivers run the wrong routes. We saw that. Okay, but now the Texas game, you're going against what's supposed to be the number 1 team in the nation at their house. The
yeah.
atmosphere is crazy. In reality, you threw one interception where I'm like, man, was that truly on Carson? Or like you said, was that Arian Smith running the wrong route? Because if he runs the wrong route right there, and all of a sudden now
Well,
we're going, wait, all
I
3 of your
mean,
interceptions were off of some bull crap.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
I'm not feeling as bad.
You got a point there because I don't know because you would have to know what the play was.
Exactly. Yeah,
Like
and we will never know that.
if you know the play is a hook to the inside, then Carson was wrong. But if you know the
Yes,
hook play was to the outside, then Arian
Smith.
Smith was off.
Yeah, I mean, but then
So
and then you take it to the drop passes. Dylan Bell, he had 45 yards receiving. He should have had 100. Dude dropped. I think he dropped 3 passes of his own, and
yeah, yeah.
like you had that. You had London
Dylan Bell
Humphreys.
was, for some reason it seemed like Dylan Bell wasn't was off this Texas game. For some
Yeah,
reason he's always had sure hands is what I'm trying to say
he
is,
he
but
has. Yeah,
this game
last year he was very good.
he looked just off this game.
But that's my whole point of this doing this stream was Georgia's offense looked horrible, and we beat the
Yeah.
everlasting crap out of Texas. If we would
Yeah.
have looked halfway decent, that's a 45-point game. Like that's where I think I know how some dog fans are like, "Oh, don't complain, we won." Like it's like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm not complaining." Even in other games where we win, they're like, "Don't complain, we won." It's like, "No, I'm frustrated because I felt like
Yeah.
we are a better team than that." And so
Well,
watching this
that whole thing, TB, that just goes to the definition of fan and being
yeah,
a fanatic. And
yeah.
people aren't gonna fan all the same way. You have those people who say, "We won, you shouldn't complain at all." Well, if you're a true fan, in my belief, you should be able to complain about things that you're not happy about. So
Yes, yes.
just because I might be happy with the game and I might be happy with this or that, doesn't mean that you have to be happy with the same exact thing. That's
Now,
like
and for this
an
game, I think
idealist. That's not a fanatic, you know.
yes. Well, and I think me and you can agree. I think all Georgia fans can agree. We are super excited that we won that game. We are super excited that we did that. We shocked all of college football, right?
Yeah,
But the other
yeah,
side is it's not just about what I think. Think about what Ole Miss and Tennessee are thinking. They're going, wait, so Georgia, they really did that? But I thought they lost to Alabama. Oh, so this
yeah,
isn't the same team that lost to Alabama? Oh, snap. Like that's what I'm thinking is that they're looking at it like you're telling me that this man Carson Beck, when he plays us, could throw 3 interceptions and they still beat the crap out of us. Oh my good.
yeah,
Well, what if he doesn't throw 3 interceptions? We're gonna have
yeah,
to score 70 points. Like they're looking at it like, oh my goodness, Georgia's way better than we thought. We and Ole Miss and Tennessee cannot afford to lose to Georgia.
yeah,
So that's what I'm saying is that's the part to me that I'm not trying not to look at it as much as a fan as I am. What is Lane Kiffin thinking? What is Josh Heupel thinking? Like,
yeah.
dude, you how did you guys lose if Carson threw 3 interceptions? How did you lose if he only had 175 yards passing? Oh, the defense
Well,
had 7 sacks.
if you look at the Alabama game, Georgia almost came back and won that game.
Yeah, that was a weird game too.
And the what's the biggest now? What's the biggest difference I seen? The biggest difference I see between, well, I say one of the biggest, and I'm not completely happy. I have my little things I've seen about the team that I don't like that needs to be improved. But I'm always a Dogs fan. I've been a Dogs fan my whole life, and I'll always be a Dogs fan. But I watch every game,
Yeah.
every little. I'm like I'll be standing up watching the game during the whole game, like analyzing it in my head, like watching every little play.
Yeah.
And but one of the biggest differences I seen between the Texas game and the Bama game was, this is just one, so don't be too harsh on me, but um, we had players that were injured during the Bama game that were able to play more, or they're looking way better than they looked in the Bama game.
I agree. We had Jared Wilson that
and
was
that
back, our
made a
starting center, and then we had
and
Mikael
that
Williams.
made a difference. That
Yes.
made a difference on the defense as well.
Well, and to your point, when people say, "Oh, it shouldn't matter," blah blah blah, we're not using the excuse of it. But if people want to know how much that affects a team, do you remember last year when
Yeah,
Colorado was playing and they won 4 in a row or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're winning a game and Travis Hunter gets hurt and they lose five
yeah,
straight without him? It's not the fact that, hey, Travis Hunter is going to win you those games. It's the confidence that having a player like that brings to your team. So when you're Georgia and you lose Mikael Williams, who is arguably a top 10, top 15 pick, you're like, oh
yeah.
man, like then you
It
lose
it, it
Jared
definitely made a
Wilson.
difference.
Yeah, you lose Jared Wilson, who's the number 3 center on the draft board. Oh man, then you lose Tate Ratledge, who's the number 1 interior lineman on the draft board, and you're like, it,
Yeah,
as a
and even
team, yeah,
even
it messes with you.
even even when you make, some people say stuff like, well, I don't- you know uh, Chaz Chambliss is terrible, and Dan Jackson is terrible, but you know Dan Jackson got took out for targeting. The backup comes in, and you're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
He's a recruit that's been sitting on the bench. That, yeah, we've got, the defense is getting. I'm sure they're getting coached well, because Kirby Smart is one of the greatest defensive minds there is.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're getting coached well. And Schumann's not a slug neither. He's a good defensive coordinator and stuff. But Jay Thomas and that or
Yeah, Ja'Cory
Jay
Thomas, I
Thomas
saw
and
that.
Jay Cole. These names that nobody heard of before. It's like, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
There are backups that just they're good. They're still being coached and trained and
or
stuff.
or they're
But in the
behind,
sit,
or they're behind
yeah, or
Malachi
they're
Starks.
behind.
Yeah.
But when in the situation where the players are being took out for targeting, hey buddy, you got to step up. Time to do it. You
and
know,
and
and you're
that's what
like, who's this guy? Well,
Georgia has always preached, and that's why I love it, because I feel like players at a high school, when you're a really good player, when you look at Georgia, they're not lying when they say you got to be ready, because it's like, look, you're one
yeah,
play away from playing, and that's how wild that game was. Because Dan gets taken out, well, then the very next play or next couple of plays, Jonel
yeah.
Aguera, he gets
Where it
taken
gets
out
took
for
out, and you're
yeah, he
like,
gets taken
yeah,
out for targeting. And it's like,
yeah,
so now you were the fourth string strong safety. Then you became the third string because Dan got taken out. Then you became
yeah,
the second string because Jonell got taken out. Well, guess what? Your heartbeat starts to beat a little faster.
yeah.
Like, oh my good.
I know
And
when Dan Jackson got took out. I mean, it. I was like, okay, okay, he got took out, but he's kind of like a backup, anyways. In some plays, he's one of those main players that they switch out. But then when Aguero got took out, I was like, oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
did, my heart did. I was like, oh,
Well, and Nature Boy said this. I did not see that. He said, Jalen Walker crawled Humphrey's butt when he was celebrating breaking up a pass in the end zone. He was like, that's the
yeah,
on-field leadership that we've been lacking this season.
yeah,
Well, I do think big games, Nature Boy, I think they get the best out of people, because if you saw it, Jalen Walker had 3 sacks in the first half. He had 7 tackles. He's the first player in, I forgot 24 years to ever have that kind of stat line against the number 1 team, and he did it in the first half. So for him, though, you didn't see that man celebrate except the one time he got his 3rd sack and he did the Conor McGregor walk. The rest of the game, that dude walked up and down the sidelines like, man, game's not over. And it's like, That's what exactly. That's what we're missing at Georgia. Of I don't care how good of a game you're having, the game's not over.
Yeah.
When the game's over, we'll go celebrate. We'll do backflips off the diving board. We'll do all that. But right now, you had one pass breakup. I need 3 more. Like,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, oh yeah. Big
The
Kid
other
saying he
thing.
was celebrating a pass breakup when he could have had an interception. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
So
He's right about that.
that's all I'm saying is like I said, and Vic too, I agree. He said, I'm excited. I'm happy the Dogs won, but we could have played better. Yes, and that's where I'm going is I'm not
Yeah.
doing this in a way of I'm dogging Georgia and I'm telling Georgia fans, hey, shut up. I'm not doing this in a hey, college football, we're coming for you. We're the best team in the nation. I'm doing this in a how surprising, how the wow factor that everybody out there is like, man, Georgia, man, they dominated Texas, and Georgia fans are going, yeah, but our offense didn't play good. Like
Yeah.
there's such a like two-sided, now we're starting to get excited going, well, okay, if we play good, we'll do better. And I'm looking at the, hey, Bobo, keep letting Carson run the offense. I like that you're calling plays, but keep giving him the leash to change the play. That is what we have been missing in this offense is the guy on the field looking around and going, oh, they're in a cover 2. Oh, okay. Oh no, they're in a cover 1 and they've got one safety over the top. They got 8 guys in the box. Hey guys, we're not running this up the middle. We're going to change it to this. That's what we've been missing. Because before we would just
Yeah.
run it up the middle and get a negative 4-yard gain or a
Yeah.
negative 4-yard loss. And it's
And
like that.
I
That
don't
is
want to.
that's what we've been missing.
I don't want to. I'm not trying to change the subject or anything, but
You're good.
um, these people who say like, you know, the refs were paid. The refs weren't paid. Now the refs were. They were angry. They were mad. They were angry at Kirby Smart. You could clearly tell after that long delay in the game and Kirby the way he was acting, like
Oh my bro,
arguing
he was
with the
lit.
refs and stuff. And
He
then
was going off.
the next few plays, like the touchdown run, that they would not call a touchdown. You
Yeah,
seen the one
yes.
that he actually scored. The guy, the back judge, he was standing right there, and he seen him break the line, and he's standing there like I refuse to raise my hands and say that's a touchdown.
Dude, he
Like
called him a yard short.
suck it, Kirby. You
Yeah.
know, I'm
Yeah.
like, what are these refs' problems? You're there to officiate a game, not to have a quarrel with a head coach. You're taking the the value out of the game when you're sitting there showing it on
Yep.
national TV that you're refusing to do what you're being paid to do. And I do believe we need year-round coaches year-round refs like Lou always says, they shouldn't be flying people in on the weekends to ref a game. They should be year-round employees. As much as college football makes in a year,
Agreed.
you're telling me that you can't afford to pay these refs a year-round salary?
I agree
Come on, give
completely.
me a joke. Give me a break.
Well, and you were saying like you're like they weren't being paid. Yeah, I'm not like I said, I know that there are conspiracies out there, but we've seen a lot of Georgia
I don't
games.
agree with those.
No, and I know I'm saying, but we've seen a lot of
Yeah,
Georgia games. I know you've seen a lot. You said you've seen every Georgia game. I have
yeah. I've
never in
been
my
watching.
life, I've
Yeah,
never in my life seen something that weird. Not just the one call, not just the
yeah,
call that was overturned, but the entire energy shift. Because I've seen
yeah.
coaches
And
chew out referees, I've seen other college football games, but that
and
game was weird because then it's like before that call happened, we started having flags thrown on us.
yeah,
There were no holding calls on
and
Texas.
also before you even had the two targeting calls earlier in the game, there were some Texas defenders that laid some hits that were helmet to helmet, and you didn't see nothing called on those.
Nothing.
But I'm not saying Texas paid the refs. I,
No, no,
I
no.
do
I,
not
I'm
believe
I'm
any
I'm just
team
I'm stating
pays the
that that
refs.
game
But it
was
was
very
definitely like
weird.
It was
That game
definitely
was
weird.
it was very weird because it gave off the impression Georgia was not supposed to win that game. It gave off the impression of like, man, Georgia's
I
up
can see.
23-0. Oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden, flag, flag,
Yeah,
flag
flag.
targeting,
Yeah,
flag targeting. Oh, pick six. Oh, it was this. Hey, dude, what are you doing? We're trying to do okay, hey, the pick six, we or not the pick six, but the interception. We know that we said it wasn't, it was pass interference, but we've decided to change our minds. It's like,
yeah.
what's going on right now, dude?
Well, in honestly, I've watched that play over and over, and it was pass interference on both sides.
Yeah, which
It should have
offsets.
been pass interference on the offense and the defense, and it should have been offsetting.
Yeah, but
So the
I'm
results
saying
of the
I've
play
seen
should have
calls,
been an
but
interception.
I've seen calls that weren't what the referee called. But after you
Yeah,
place the ball down, I know because I'll complain about it. Like, that's bull crap, dude. How could they call that? Well, guess what? They go with the
yeah,
play. They go on. They don't set the ball down and go, hey, I know we said that it was this, but you guys, I think I want to change my mind.
yeah. And
Like, I know
it's really
David.
bad. It's really a bad setting when you set that precedent that, hey, the audience, y'all just create a big disturbance and we'll just change our minds.
Yeah, that
You're
and
able to be swayed, and no, it shouldn't have.
persuade or intimidated.
Yeah,
Uh,
or
but I
intimidated.
know, like I heard David Pollock say it. I heard Aaron Murray say it. No, Sean Marino. I heard multiple people like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. I heard Jim
Yeah,
Donnan, the old coach that used to coach at Georgia, like he was like, that was
I
not a
mean, I'm.
pass interference. He said that was offset. He said it should have,
I
but
mean,
he's like, once you
yeah,
make the call and you place the ball down, it's over.
yeah, it's over. Yeah,
He's like that. He goes,
and
he said,
I'm kind of like that too. I've been, I'm 50 years old. I've been watching football, college football, since I don't even know how long. I can't even remember when I first, I listened to the game on the radio before I was able to be able to watch it.
yeah.
I listened to the, you know, Larry Munson call when Herschel Walker ran over ran over
With the
what's
hobnail
that
boot.
guy's name, Bates.
Yeah.
Bates with the hobnail boot,
Yeah.
and Lindsey Scott for the touchdown to win the Sugar Bowl and all that stuff. I mean, I've been watching football too, and they're absolutely correct. I've never seen that before where they've been influenced by the crowd and changed their mind and said, well, there was no penalty. We're just going to pick up the flag, and yeah, y'all can just be happy. Like they were scared that somebody might meet them at their cars after the game. Like these Texas
Yes. And
fans
that,
might meet them at their car
yeah,
after the game and be
intimidation.
like, well, I'm going to kill you because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No, you don't do that. If
No,
you're
like I said,
scared for your
it was,
life or whatever, then you have somebody escort you to your car after the game, but you don't change the decision you just made.
but what I love is for me to feel that, it was weird, for you to feel that, man, this game's kind of weird. All these people that are like, this game's weird. And then after the game, Kirby, like, it let you know that it kind of confirmed the way that we
That
were
was funny.
feeling. Because this man roasted everybody. Your whole
Yeah,
network picked
and
against us.
it
They
was
tried to
funny
rob us.
too.
Yeah.
It was funny because I watched game day, and I watched game day, and every person on the panel was like Texas, Texas, and then Lee Corso brings out the damn Longhorn hat and he puts it on. I'm like, okay, y'all
No, this game
keep
was
on
like a
doubting
movie.
Georgia.
This game was like a movie. Like I said,
Yeah,
there was, you could tell there was a lot of money spent on this game. It was, but anyways, I'm just saying, I love that Kirby's. He's not the type that's like, oh well, I'm so happy that they allowed us to come here. It's really good to have him in the SEC. He's like, man, screw all that. I'm not
yeah.
here for the popularity. I'm
I
like,
mean,
he's like, we're here to eat. I was like, oh my
yeah,
goodness.
and I'm not saying like I was. I'm always rooting for my dogs to win,
Yeah,
but I had doubts before the game. I was like, oh man,
yeah,
this is gonna be a tough
yeah.
one. but I was like, I'm hoping all these other people I've listened to saying that, Texas ain't really played a hard competition this year so far. So maybe we can, I was like, maybe we can welcome to the SEC and just stomp them. And I was like,
Well,
maybe, hopefully,
what
let's see.
gave me hope, what gave me kind of some excitement was when I watched that Texas versus Mississippi State game. Because yes, Arch
Yeah,
Manning, the backup, he played against them, but watching their defense, Mississippi State ate up their defense. They just had like
yeah,
a fumble close to the red zone, and then had like 2 interceptions. Like some just, I was like, oh okay, like that just showed me that Mississippi State ate them up. They just couldn't capitalize on the drives, and then against
yeah,
us, they did capitalize. So it was like I said, I was like, okay, good. Like Mississippi State is, they did that. Anyways. So that's it though. I'm gonna end the stream. VicTube says
all
Kirby
right,
should be
man.
thanking ESPN for giving us bullets. Agreed, VicTube. But I'm gonna end it because I know
Hey,
Pete's about to
hey,
start with the live. So
thanks for letting me on the talk about it a little bit.
yeah, for sure, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure I'll see you in the chat in Pete's comment section, and we'll talk later,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah. All right, bye.
All right, see you, bud. Appreciate you, Nature Boy, VicTube, all of y'all. Harry Leg Harry. Yeah, and go Dogs. We'll see how they do in this off week, this little bye week. We'll see if we can win the bye week and get ready for Florida. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.